There you are. Nice to see you, Devin. Nice to meet you.
Good to hear your voice. I can't see you, but I already saw what you look like. Thanks for having me on your channel, and I'm glad I could make you some cash. It sounds like you got a good cash flow going.
I always do. I'm an excellent entertainer, Devin. You may not know this, but anyway, I've got a bunch of questions to start off with. First and foremost, I'd like to cut and dispense with any bullshit. Do you agree that we should just dispense with bullshit and get right to brass tacks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
I'm not.
can we stop with the accent? There's no possible way that that's how you actually talk. Can you talk to me like you would normally talk to anybody else?
Yeah, I can talk to you using my regular voice.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Like
That's
I
no.
really do. I really do. I appreciate that. Let's move backwards. Move backward. How did you get involved in all of this blood ritualistic bullshit?
First of all, I'm not into any blood ritualistic bullshit anymore. It's definitely something I did when I was younger, and you know, it spoke to me. I mean, I have no regrets other than how things have stuck with my name, you know, because I admit it looks a bit suspicious, it looks a bit
Do you think
crazy,
men
and
have it harder than women?
well, all I can say
Me?
is I was very excited at the time to participate in so-called blood rituals, and you know,
Well, I mean
it's
that's a blood ritual, right, bro? Like let's
I'm
dispense
not,
with the non
I'm not
if you're pouring
it's
your
a
blood
blood
on a letter, it's a blood
it's
ritual.
a of course it's a blood ritual. What else would it be, my man?
Yeah, right. Well, how did you end up getting involved in a blood ritual? I know you say it spoke to you, but this guy who claims that he's Satan reincarnated, how in the world could you possibly have gotten tied up with this guy? Walk us through it. You've got the floor. I'm not going to interrupt you.
Okay, well, um, yeah, he had a pretty interesting channel, I thought. Like I said, his words spoke to me, and I ended up getting involved in this internet blood cult, as people say, and you know, it was pretty thrilling. It was a different kind of paradigm that I had had completely embraced at the time, and at a certain point, because I was having private calls with this man, at a certain point, I kind of had a bird's eye view, and I went, don't think I want, I, I don't think I want to be a part of this anymore.
Well,
I mean,
go
you're
ahead.
asking me to explain to you like a series of events that transpired over
Yes.
many years. I can't just summarize everything uh, to your heart's content, but in summary, it spoke to me, and now I don't do that.
Well, okay,
But
so I understand this, but I do have to ask some pretty poignant questions. The
ask
first
pointing questions,
Yeah, so
please.
first and foremost, were you on drugs when you were involved in this?
No, no,
No.
I'm a sober man.
You
I'm a
weren't.
complete
Do you think
sober
that
man.
this guy was on drugs when when he was
Oh,
at his
I
peak?
know. My friend, I know this guy was on drugs. In fact, well, he never smoked any drugs when we were on calls, but he absolutely would drink from vodka bottles, and that kind of led me to question quite heavily his authenticity. I mean, anyone would who wants to stick around following a drug abuser or a drunk.
Well, you were second in command of this thing, weren't you?
as as they say. Yeah, I mean, you can say I was his sidekick. Like the thing is, I'm not coming on here explaining with remorse or with regret what happened. I mean,
You
it's
should be
it's all
regretful and have remorse, though, shouldn't you? I mean, there's people right now
right now.
who
No,
due to your words, there's people right now, right this second. I just went to a channel myself. not more than 3 days ago as I was researching this stream, and I was the first commenter on somebody who was using their blood to sprinkle it on a letter because they believe this shit, and you were a part of that.
Hold on. First of all, I don't really know if you're taking the stance of an entertainer or the stance of a moralist.
Moralist.
So, okay, so I don't want to affect people in a way that will inspire any kind of mania, any kind of ungroundedness. And I've actually had to deal with a lot of harsh realizations over the past few years that, in many instances, my content, I mean, I'm well aware, has inspired these very things, these very crazy kind of moments and thoughts. And
But you have no regret.
the last thing, well, it's a part of my past. I can't change it.
Well,
I
shouldn't
don't.
you take accountability for the fact that you were
Well,
spearheading this? Hang on. I let you talk, right? Let me talk too. You were spearheading this with this guy, okay? And this has led to an undue amount of harm for tons of people, and you can see that these people are not with it, right? They're not with the program. Most of them are mentally ill, or they're drug addicts, or they're looking for truths where there are no truths. And you kind of just came on here, and I gave you an opportunity to say, I totally and completely disavow this. I regret my participation in this.
There's got to be some cool
I think
ninja
all
trick
of
you can
those.
teach us to...
I think all of those are fair things to say, right? Can you say that you disavow this blood ritual and that you should never have taken part and that it should never be done by anybody?
Well, I have disavowed it. I mean, you're kind of acting like a Piers Morgan character right now.
Well, I'm not using the guru voice, bro. That's you. If one of us is playing a character, there's only one of us here doing it. This is how I always sound at all times with every human being I talk to.
What do I expect? It's the roast of me.
Well,
Listen,
I'm not roasting you now. Now I'm confronting you directly on this, and I want you to explain yourself, and I think that it's reasonable that I ask you to disavow people draining their fucking blood on envelopes.
If I don't use the words you want me to use, I have already disavowed blood over intent. What more do you want me to say?
I want you to say that you have a past you're ashamed of. Here's what I want you to say.
I don't have lasting shame, my friend.
I'll tell you what I think.
Why are you telling me?
You just asked me what I want you to say, and I'm trying to tell you.
Listen, we've all done things in our past that we do not,
and we take responsibility for those things.
I was promoting blood over intent.
That's
how
right.
Else you want? Of course it is. How else do you want me to take responsibility?
Well, here's how I would take responsibility. I would say,
inform me the right way.
Here's how I would do it. But this is maybe because I'm stable. I don't know. But what I would say is, listen, I was a part of something which was horrific and should never be done by anybody anywhere ever. And the people who are involved in this are people you should stay as far away from as you possibly can. That's how I would do it, and I would take full responsibility for the things that I participated in. And I think that you should do the same exact thing.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's horrific, because horrific to me means acts of violence.
Like cutting yourself with a knife and bleeding on something? That sounds pretty fucking violent, bro.
What more do you want me to... I'm in your camp. I'm with you. I don't know why you're trying to create this strange versus. I don't believe that blood over intent is effective in the way that people say it is. I don't believe we should embrace these kind of blood rituals. Now, I do believe personal freedom, though. I mean, I do believe that there's many different practices out there, whether we want to deem them occult or even religious, which the practitioner has full freedom to engage in and continue to do so if they believe it. So I'm not here to say no one should ever do anything. I'm not in a position to
You're not in a
be.
position to tell people that. Well, let me ask you a question. If you're not in a position to tell people that, are you willing to say that a person shouldn't have sex with a dead body? Are you in a position to tell people that?
Of course, but this is our
But hang on,
own.
hang on.
This is our
Why?
own
Why? But hang
body.
on. Let me finish. I've always given you the floor. Let you say your piece. Now let me say mine. If you're in a position where you feel like you can disavow that, why are you in a position where you feel like you can't disavow blood magic where people cut themselves open? Can you explain that for me?
Yes, I can, and let's go to a more extreme example. I believe everyone has the autonomy and the right to perform suicide on themselves, and that doesn't mean I think people should kill themselves. There is a difference.
I agree.
I think if someone wants wholeheartedly
I
to
agree. There's a
engage
difference.
in a so-called blood magic ritual, they have the full freedom to do so.
Why?
And
Why do you think they should
because
have the
it is
full
their
freedom to
body.
do it?
For the same reason why somebody has the full freedom to kill themselves, because it's their body.
So then
They,
how come a person shouldn't have the full freedom to be a necrophiliac? Who do you think that that's hurting, sir?
sir, we're dealing with
Answer my
what
question. Don't evade it. Who is it hurting?
I am not a. We are speaking of what one does with their own body.
Yeah, but they're doing this with their own body. Clearly, they're not doing
Yes,
anything with
yes.
somebody else who's alive, right? What
Well,
would be the difference, for instance, for somebody who picked up a piece of roadkill and had sex with it? Would you say that that was a ritual that you would condone? And if you say no, you have to give me a reason why you think that that would not be something you would condone.
I wouldn't condone it the same reason why you wouldn't, because one, that's disgusting. Two,
Oh,
it
because it's disgusting. But leaking your blood all over shit, that's not disgusting.
and two, it involves another creature's body. So
But why would that matter exactly, right? So this is my whole problem is like I'm asking you to justify why a thing is wrong. So I need you to justify for me if it's not wrong for somebody to engage in blood magic, and you say they should have the autonomy to do so because people should have the autonomy to do what they want. Why can't they have the autonomy to, have sex with roadkill? Why?
Let me ask you, why shouldn't
Don't answer my question with a question. Answer my question, then ask your question.
why shouldn't someone have the right to do what they want with their own body, whether it's dress a certain way, cut themselves, kill themselves, make themselves fat, make themselves stick thin? Why doesn't an individual have the right?
Because it's objectively immoral. So let me ask you this. I can prove it. Well, I'll demonstrate it. I'll demonstrate it for you so that you understand. If your mother came to you and she said to you that she's in no pain other than something maybe mental, and she wanted to kill herself, would you endorse it?
Of course not.
Of course not. Why not?
Well, because I have a familial, emotional bond with
Because
this
it's
person.
wrong. Because it's wrong. And you know it's wrong, and that's why you wouldn't want her to do it. You love her. You know that she's in the midst of some type of mediocre crisis. You don't, in other words, you don't unlimitedly believe that a person should be able to self-harm under any circumstances. That would be absurd, right?
I don't. There's a difference between believing someone has the right to harm themselves and believing it is right or wrong to harm themselves.
Then why would you advocate that they do if you think it's wrong?
I don't advocate people harm themselves.
You just got done telling me that you fully 100% advocate that a person should have 100% bodily autonomy. Are you retracting that statement?
Listen, we're getting into a strange debate here. I stand by the idea that an individual should absolutely have the freedom to do what they want with their
Yeah,
body.
but you don't believe that. You would stop your mom. You would stop your mommy. Would you?
But well, if I could stop her,
Right,
I
you would
but
stop her.
I would stop her like I would stop anyone. I would pull
Right.
over on the side of the road and
Why?
help out anyone who's
Because
in
it's
distress.
wrong, right? Because it's wrong. That's why you would do it, right? Because it's wrong. You wouldn't let your mom kill herself? That's absurd. You wouldn't let your little brother kill himself? That's absurd, right?
I think we're getting into kind of a weird
Well, you keep
intellectual.
saying it's weird, but it's not really weird. What we're looking for is foundational epistemology. What I'm looking for out of you is I'm just
Get
looking for you
a bit more
with
get
your.
a bit more interesting and ask me about
I'm
how
trying. Hang on, I'm
strange
trying.
of a
If
guy
you,
I am.
I'll move
Yes,
on. Hang
I
on.
believe someone should do what they want with their body. If you're a gothic person, you should be allowed to convey whatever appearance to the
Then
outer
why
world.
would you stop those people? That makes no sense, bro.
I I would stop them because there is a calling in such hypothetical moments to not see someone end their life and not see someone's misery conglomerate into such
So
an
then,
horrific
sir,
moment.
I want you to understand the
That
logical.
doesn't mean I don't
Sir,
think they don't have
sir,
the right.
the
That
logical
does not
track there is that you would limit them from having 100% personal autonomy because you would stop them from doing things that they want to do based on your own moral framework. You understand that, right?
I would not take ownership of their body in that moment.
But with your mom, you would, right? Or your little brother? Or what about your son? Would you do it for your son? If your son came to you and said, Dad, I just don't like being alive anymore. Do you? And
You're
I'm going to go outside and pick up a 357 revolver and put it up to my head and pull the trigger.
not,
Would you stop him?
you can do better than this. You can do
That's not
better.
an argument. That's just talking. That's not an
Be a bit
argument,
more
bro.
interesting to your audience. Yes, I think we have the freedom to do what we want with our body.
Until we don't.
Going to the extreme example of suicide, remember, we're only using this extreme example in order to point at this.
Well, it's not extreme. You advocated for it, bro.
Horrific.
You
I
hang
didn't
on.
add.
You
I
did. Well,
didn't
hang
add.
on. You advocated that a person should be able to when they want to.
Of course, we all have the
Then why
freedom
would you stop them?
our body. Do you believe we don't have the freedom to eat what we want and
Yes.
organize our
I
schedule?
don't believe
You
that,
don't
that
believe.
people have unlimited freedom. That's absurd. You don't believe that either. You don't think that people, for instance, should be able to own a tank, right?
I believe people have the right to do what they want with their own body because they are the owners.
Well, what if they
of
want to put their body in a
body.
tank? Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like you don't really believe in unlimited freedom.
Because then it involves other people.
Who does it involve if they put themselves in a tank?
If you're speaking of using the tank to hurt others,
What if they're not? What if they just want to own the
Why?
tank?
why can't they put their body in a tank?
Why can't they use a nuke?
Because if we're going to be using this nuke to hurt others, then it's not just involving themselves.
So, what you've established is that your morality filter says that a person should have complete autonomy over everything that they do, absent hurting somebody else. If that's true, then why would you ever stop anybody from doing anything that you considered non-harmful to another individual? That makes no sense.
Maybe in your world it doesn't, okay? You're asking me questions and we will agree to disagree.
Okay. Okay.
I
Well,
think
I think
most
that's
people-
fair. We can move on from there, but I'm just
Well,
saying
good.
you need to think about that because
I
you,
don't need to think about it.
well, you
We're
have to be
operating-
incorrect. You realize that. You can't give me a counterexample or argument because you're
No, I'm
wrong.
And I'm incorrect. I'm not here to play a game of who's right and wrong. You asked me a question
Mm-hmm.
if I think people have the right to do a blood magic spell. Let's come full circle. And I said yes. In the same way, using the extreme example of suicide, I absolutely think
Would stop a
people-
person from doing it if they were one of your loved ones.
The two are mutually exclusive, but you can do better than this for your own audience. Come on. Even your audience knows exactly what I mean. And I don't even advocate publicly that we should have such disregard for something like morality or something like people harming themselves.
You can't hold two contrary positions. That would be illogical. And you would
Call,
actually hang on. I'll let you
call me
finish. Hang on, bro.
paradoxical.
I let you finish. Let me finish, and I promise I'll give you the floor back. I promise. If you hold two contrary positions, you'd be violating the law of non-contradiction. You can't claim on the one breath that everybody should have unique personal bodily autonomy, and then on the next breath claim that you would be the aggressor to stop their bodily autonomy, which you've already admitted you would, which is telling me that you have a contradiction on your hands, right?
Then so be it. What else do you want me to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
We can
I
move on
think
from
all
there.
of us are very much walking contradictions. You are trying to act as the professor of morality in this moment, and yet you seem to have no problem insulting strangers on the internet. And maybe that comes from a supposed moral high ground you have taken, but that seems a bit contradictory to me. I think as humans, yeah, we are walking paradoxes at times, and if me believing that people do have the freedom to do what they want with their bodies does not coincide with me wanting to stop someone committing suicide, then so be it. Let us move on to something more interesting.
Fair enough. I have some questions from the audience that came in. Do you mind vetting a few of those before I bring in a caller? He'd like to talk with you. I promise you that he'll be respectful. Made by Jim Bob asks for $5. Will it hurt you in some way if a loved one killed themselves? Would it hurt you? Would it
Of
be
course it
painful for you?
Listen, I don't actually know why we're getting hung up because my content has nothing to do with suicide at all. Nor have I spoken about suicide ever on camera, nor do I promote blood over intent, which is a far cry from suicide.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm just asking the question that he asked via super chat. That's all, sir. I did tell you I would move on. I promised you I would move on, and I am moving on. George asked for $5. Just a reminder that no one talks like that. Did you want to address that, the guru voice? Is there a reason or a methodology behind that?
If you want me to give a reason, I like to have a dignified style of communication, and everybody who knows me knows I do speak like this. This is just how I choose to talk, and I'm pretty careful, or I try to be careful with my words. And I recognize and have recognized for a while that it can come across to the average bloke and Sheila like some kind of tryhard or some kind of antagonistic wannabe guru. Like that, this is just how my speaking voice has developed. Obviously, you heard me in the videos from 6 years ago. My voice is completely different. I
Yeah.
mean, we can joke that I went through a kind of second puberty. Like my voice is much lower now. It is not as trebly, and so we go through changes and we go through many experiences, and I certainly have gone through a lot since those videos, and this is how I talk in 2023, and I have no shame about it. But again, I do recognize it's like a super big deal to
Well, I mean,
at times.
to be fair to the average bloke, as you put it, don't you think that that would be a big deal? Like if you were to, for instance, be in our shoes, and you heard us, or you heard yourself talking in the way that you do, and we can just go back to a few short years and see that you talked in a completely different manner. And yet, at this point, you're selling spiritualism. I don't mean selling in the sense that you're actually, charging somebody for something. I want to be, again, very fair to you. But you are at least pushing your idea of spiritualism, whatever that is, to people. If you saw that a person spoke totally differently just a couple of years before, now they speak in a certain cadence that you can kind of assign to gurus and things like this, what would your thought process be?
I don't know because I'm not as triggered by this kind of voice, so it probably wouldn't phase me. And I can't speak for such a hypothetical, but We might blame it on the fact that I've had a lot of practice public speaking in the hundreds of videos I've released since 2016. And when you get used to talking on live streams and even, well, I've barely done any collaborations like we're doing right now. I mean, you trial and error start to develop different habits. Like I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry that my voice is somehow just so so awful. You know, this is just how I talk now. So
Well, they're not. So like there's breaks as you're talking to me. There's breaks in it. So like I know how you talk. At least I think I know how you talk based on like earlier videos and the way that
my friend, you're talking to me right now,
yeah,
candidly, without a script.
yeah,
If
I'm
you're
aware.
upset, I pause. If you're that triggered that I pause when I speak, then maybe you need to investigate why you're so annoyed with such petty actions others choose to take or
Well, I can tell you. But hang on, let me get it out before you interrupt because like I said, I've given you the floor multiple times and I've not interrupted you, sir. I've been completely fair. The reason that I point this out and say that this might be problematic is because it seems to me like it's a sign of you playing a character rather than you being your authentic person, your authentic self, whatever that may be. And I wouldn't that be reasonable if a person drastically changes their speech patterns in such a short amount of time? Why wouldn't they think that?
oy vey. Listen, I don't
Wait,
know what you
did
want.
you just say oy vey?
I said oy vey because my mother used to say that growing up. We spoke a little bit of Yiddish. Of course, I was raised Jewish. I'm unashamed to say that.
I have no
Are you
problem with
familiar
Jews.
with Yiddish? Okay, well, it seems like you get quite triggered about people's speech. Even me saying oy vey is means for you to go,
Well, I
whoa.
mean, it's an
Yeah,
internet meme,
this is
right?
how I speak.
It's a literal internet meme.
No,
That's why I just think it's kind of funny.
it's not an internet meme. I grew up in a conservative Jewish household where Yiddish words were constantly spoken, including oy vey, which means oh boy or oops.
Okay, I understand. I'm not beating you up about it. I'm just telling you that it's kind of a meme on the internet at this point when a person says oy vey, that's all.
My friend, or maybe comrade in suffering, or not friend, this is my roast, so I can handle it.
Okay, fair enough. A few more questions from the audience, and then Chase Haggard wanted to come in and talk with you, and maybe made by Jim Bob. And I do appreciate you coming on. And I'm again, I'm going to be fair and let you defend yourself. I'm not going to interrupt you like I haven't been. Quentin asked for $5. He says, Andrew, I'm watching this in my tank right now. Come on, that was a funny joke, right? He says, I just want to say my favorite argument to use in a debate is you can do better than this. Yeah, that did come off a little strange. Mitch Murphy for Canadian, $5 Canadian. He says, has he ever heard of the Orthodox Church? We can all be deceived by con men and familiar spirits. This is why we need a church as a guide. Can you answer to that, sir?
I'm very aware that the Orthodox Church exists, and I know a little bit about Orthodox Christianity. Like I said, I was raised in a conservative Jewish household, so I'm not too adept at the Christian lifestyle or lore, but my answer is yes.
Okay. And then, Mystery, if you could, I'm sure you can hear me now. If you want to go ahead and drag in Chase Haggard or Made by Jim Bob, I know both of them wanted to speak to this gentleman. But while they're coming in, I wanted to still move backwards because we haven't really gotten anywhere. Can you tell me about the trip? This trip that was set up to go to the North Pole. I'm going to give you the floor, and I just want you in your own words to explain how this all went down. And then, caller, I saw you pop in. Shut up while he goes through this, okay? Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. You're so generous. Yeah, well, as you
Benevolent. I prefer benevolent.
benevolent, well, we can shower you with affection after
All right, go ahead, man.
all of your all of your followers will leave, and I'll still be here to present you such positivity. Yeah, so you already saw the the crowdfunder. You saw
hmm
well a video that did have a part of our script in it. like when you were playing that, I was actually quite amused because, hey, the beginning of it is exactly what I typed out and what I said in the crowdfunder video that you can no longer find. Uh,
Yeah, why did you take that video down? Just curious.
because I was done with it. I mean, it's the same reason why I've taken down a lot of other videos. I don't stand by certain things anymore, and why not expunge the internet of things I no longer stand by? Why should I keep them on there and weigh down whatever content I'm currently creating with things I no longer do or agree with?
Yeah, I mean that sounds reasonable. I'm not beating you up on this. I'm just asking you now in your
You-
own
It's
words.
it's my roast. Beat me up as much as you want.
Well, okay. Well, then if you want me to beat you up as much as I want, then I would say that you probably took it down because you were hiding the evidence of some sort of grift. What happened with the people's money? What happened with the people's money? Yeah.
Well, if you'll let me explain. Now, first of all, I'm in need of no grift and have not been in need of a grift. To think I'm somebody who needs to beg or steal money from others on the internet is laughable. But to answer your question, yeah, a bunch of us guys, about six of us, excuse me, six of us, not about, we got together. We wanted to explore the North Pole. And as you read, we had this marvelous idea, or so we
Why
thought,
did you want to
to
explore the North Pole?
rent. Oh, because there's plenty of stories and mythologies out there that point to a sacred hidden land. Stories I didn't write,
Okay.
stories I did not invent. These are all in mythology. You can go to Flat Earth Paradise and check out the videos that I put together with such mythologies and stories, but it sounded very interesting and it absolutely appealed to the Peter Pan within, or that unawakened explorer. And so we devised a plan to explore, but not on foot. You see, like, we weren't just going to get dropped off there. We wanted to rent an Icelandic charter plane. We wanted to set up a fueling station in a location at the northern tip of Greenland called Peary Land. And we wanted to, take some drones and hook up cameras to that charter plane and see if we can capture any footage of some weird anomalies, whether it has to do with the aurora borealis or what, or whether
Or a
we could
hidden
find,
land, a potential hidden
or,
land. Do you think that
or
do you think
potential.
Atlantis is there?
Um, I don't think I would call it Atlantis. And the thing is, at this point, because you're asking me in 2023, okay? I'm 30 years old right now. I started my channel when I was 23 or 24.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'm
Well,
just asking you what your present position is. That's it.
my present position is, how can anyone be sure of things that are unseen? Whether it has to do with a hidden land, whether it has to do with uh, God, whether it has to do with an afterlife. So I've actually stripped myself of, or I've tried to strip myself of assumption, even if we can point to this or that mythology or scripture to corroborate whatever assumption we can create. I've stripped myself of being certain that anything absolutely exists, but I've also not gone to the other side and said, well, anything mystical must be a load of poppycock. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of where I think a lot of people exist now, where until further proof, can't say for sure, but I can't reduce it into some kind of idiotic lore.
Well, can you help me out with a couple things just to clarify? Did you give all the money back?
Yeah,
All of it?
I did. Well, if I can continue my story, and most of it, yes, here's the deal.
Well, what do you mean most of it?
Okay, so first of all, okay, let's not freak out. First of all,
I'm
it
not
was a
freaking out.
crowdfunder. It was a crowdfunder that raised about $4,000. Pretty pathetic. Only 42 people out of my 28,000 subscribers at the time donated.
Well, $4,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, not really, okay? And I definitely don't need it and did not need it back then. And so uh, we had to come out with a video because we obviously can't do the trip we want to do with $4,000. So I came back with a video with my tail between my legs and I said, "Hi everyone, North Seal Project is canceled." The donations were anonymous. Okay. And this has honestly been very aggravating because there's been this whole mythology that I somehow did this to just steal a bunch of money, which is ludicrous. I came out in public asking people, if you donated, we have no way of giving back the money because these are anonymous donations. So most of them we did end up giving back. We could not give back all of it, and that amounted to a little over 1,000, which helped out one of our members with a plane ticket back from the UK, which was our meeting point. So, I mean, that's something I'm unashamed of saying. We
So on
couldn't give back.
this crowdfunding website, they didn't
Indiegogo.
yeah, they didn't instantly just refund all of their money. They actually released those funds to you first.
I can't speak for how it operates right now. Remember, we did this in 2018.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm. That's why I'm asking you.
Back then, yes, back then you kept even the goals that were not, excuse me. If your goal was not met back then on Indiegogo, you still kept
The
that
cash.
money.
Okay.
Yes.
So you refunded $3,400 of it, and then $1,000 of it was spent on a member being able to fly back from wherever he was at. If those people were to now come to you for redress and want their cash back, would you give it to them?
Yes, but nobody has.
That's
Yes,
fair.
but
Listen, that's fair, man.
and
Wait,
I
wait,
will say,
relax,
I
relax.
will
I'm
say
not
publicly,
attacking you. I'm
hold
just
on,
asking
hold
your
on.
side. That's it.
Hold on. I'm trying to be a decent human being right now. If there are any people listening to this who did not receive money back or feel as if money was stolen from them, and the answer is likely zero, then contact me and we can work it out. Just send me your receipts from 2016, and me and I'm still friends with the guys who were in the so-called North SEAL team. We will figure it out. And I've even said this on many live streams I've done when people have gotten all up in arms about the fact that I was stealing money. Uh, and to date, no one, zero people have come forward
I think
claiming.
that's, sir, just relax for a second and hear me out.
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
beating you up about this. In this particular portion of this conversation, right, we've already moved on from the kind of initial point. I'm just getting your side, right? And I think that it's completely and totally fair for you to say that you had this project, it didn't work out, most people refunded their money, and if there's anybody out there who feels like they didn't get their money back, that you're willing to refund it. That seems totally reasonable to me. So I'm not beating you up about that, okay?
Of course. Well, you can see from my perspective, this ended in spring of 2017, and most criticism videos of me have heavily revolved around the potential that it was somehow a grift or a big fraud.
Well, it doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look good, right? But
Well,
I can't do anything except take you at your word. What else could I do? But it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great that you had $4,000 that was refunded to you, that you spent $1,000 of it, and then you say to people, "Hey, you can come back to me for redress later." At least they can come back to you for redress later, and you're willing to make it right. I think that that's as fair as it can be. But it does look like trying to collect $100,000 to go to the North Pole to find some type of hole that you can shoot a light through is kind of absurd, and it doesn't look great. That's all I'm saying, right? That's fair, isn't it?
I mean, we're all the own judge in our little universes of what's fair and what's not fair. I'm well aware that how I look to the average Joe is not great, but I'm not here to appeal to the average Joe. I'm not here to look a certain way, regardless if you think I'm trying to play guru or not. Most of what I do is self-expression. I mean, have you heard my music? I post music
Yeah,
as
some of it's kind of funny, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of it's pretty funny. I love comedy. Like it's one of my favorites, right?
well. It's not everyone's cup of tea.
But there are some other things that are going on that I do have some issues with. Now, hang on. I've given you the floor for a long time, and I want to make sure that we can get the questions in from the chat. Jungalo asked for $9.60. Can you comment on Eric Dubé? I don't know who Eric Dubé is. Can you comment on that for me?
No, because I have nothing to do with Eric Dubé.
Who is
So,
Eric Dubé?
well, he is a leader in the flat Earth movement and has been since it got popular in 2012.
Okay, and you don't work with this guy at all. This isn't my question. I'm just asking it from the
Well, I
audience.
I've never worked with the guy, and in fact, he did some write up about me many years ago, in a similar fashion that you have made this flame live stream calling me out for being crazy or unstable or something. So yeah, that's the extent of my association with Eric Dubé. But yeah, his content is his own and has absolutely nothing to do with what I say or what I have said on the YouTubes.
Okay. Evan 513 asked for $5. Well, he more makes a comment. He says, "Cutting your hair into a Kentucky waterfall, that will be payback enough, sir." I think he's making a joke kind of there at your expense. Caller, you've been waiting very patiently, and I'm willing to take callers in who want to ask the questions, right? Go ahead, caller, when you're ready.
All right, is my audio all right?
Your audio's okay.
All right, cool.
Oh, hang on.
How's it going, Devin?
I got a slight echo, so you may have to mute yourself between your speaking.
Okay, that's strange.
Just it's only when someone else is talking. So
Got it. I'll make sure to do that. So thanks for coming on, Devin. I think people deserve respect when somebody's getting critiqued and then they come and they actually defend themselves or just offer their point of view. That definitely deserves respect, regardless of whether you disagree or agree with someone. So, kudos to you. Definitely respect that. I'm just curious about your worldview now. And I know that you said that you're kind of like stripping things away. And you said earlier that, you don't believe blood rituals are effective in the way that people think it is. So what do you think about blood rituals?
So, first of all, I subscribe to the idea that any spiritual practice we engage in is only as effective as our belief in it. Which means if there is the weight of belief, if there's a kind of confirming energy towards an object of praise or a spiritual practice or a ritual or a prayer, then that practitioner, whether they're considering themselves spiritual or religious, will benefits or be confirmed the authenticity of their practice. And I say this because, when Christians have told me or in general spoken about their encounters with Jesus Christ. I believe they actually have. But in a similar fashion, there are Eastern sects who have similar experiences with their gods of reverence, and I believe those too are authentic because, in the words of Arthur Schopenhauer, the world is my representation. So that was the summation of his magnus opus, World as Will and Representation. How I interpret his work is you first and foremost have to have a true willingness to see the results as you are interpreting what you're doing as authentic. So it's kind of like a tongue twister to ask me, what spiritual practices do I buy into and do I not? Because if a Wiccan came to me and said, I have experienced this and that due to these candlelight rituals or moonlight rituals I've performed, I'm in no position to say, no, that's wrong. You have not experienced that. So in this way, I guess you could say, I do think as within, so without is sort of like a divine principle.
Okay, hang on.
How?
Okay.
Hang on. Let me let Chase get in. But before I do, I just wanted to let you know Willie Jenkins for $5 said that boy needs to forgive his mama. I don't know if that's like an internet meme, but Chase, go ahead when you're ready.
So is everything one thing? Is everything one substance? And that we, with our will, create or maneuver this one substance into different modes?
You could say it like that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
So
very
if everything,
personal thing.
sorry.
Our spiritual encounters are very much personal, and I've found oftentimes dependent on our upbringing, what we're paying attention to in any given moment. Yeah. And I don't see how this can't not be true because there's a vast array of different spiritual encounters and extraordinary instances that people experience day in and day out. And so when it comes to the objectivity of our different beliefs, I mean, we're getting into just dogmatic waters that can't seem to accept that there are a multitude of different shades of this force that we want to call God or source or whatever you call it.
Okay. Well, so then is it objectively true that all spiritual encounters and all worldviews, because we're all one thing? Well, let me ask one more question real quick. Are we one being in different modes of being? Am I you and you are me, but we're just in different modalities, meaning different states of activity?
I can't say that for certain. I came up with a term the other day, the church of whatever's out there. Like I thought of doing a video called Welcome to the Church of Whatever's Out There. We know there probably
The church of
is,
whatever's out there?
yeah, it's a joke. Don't take it too seriously, man. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's, like there's all these people who want conclusive, specified beliefs that are set in stone, and it's like, well, whatever's out there, there probably is a very interesting, powerful, maybe even omniscient, omnipresent force that people do interact with and have and will continue to. But when it comes to labeling the specifics of what this force is, what it wants, what it needs of us in order to achieve enlightenment or salvation, that's when, well, people can come up with all sorts of different compelling answers. And that's why, well, whatever's out there, there probably is something out there, and likewise in here.
Gotcha. Okay. I think there's a lot of philosophical problems with that, but I just want to keep it simple because I know you've spent your time here today, and we, do appreciate you coming on Andrew's channel. But when you
Let me
say,
say,
Hang on,
excuse
let
me,
him say. Let him say. Hang on. You've had your chance. Let him say.
but I am not
Let him say,
here
sir. Let him
being
say. Let it.
exhaustive.
He wants to
I
finish
am
his
only
question. Hey, he wants to finish his question. You shouldn't have any problem defending your worldview. That would be absurd not to, especially if you're peddling a
I'm a
worldview, which you are.
I'm an artist. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
Oh, you're an
I'm,
artist. So it's all
I'm
fake. Wait. So it's all fake.
It's just we're looking through these topics different. We're looking at these topics through different lenses.
Yeah,
Mine
and
is
and he's questioning
yes,
your lens. So
yes, but
answer. So hang on.
I
He was fantastic, and he let you the entire time discuss your lens. And now he would like to ask you or kind of rejoin to your lens. If it's not just art, unless you're going to say to me, Andrew, this is all performative art, then I'll let it go. But if you're saying this is a real worldview with a real prism, right, and you believe this, then you need to answer for it. Don't you think that that's fair?
I don't peddle a worldview. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This isn't
Then
a
why did you
world.
just give a worldview?
This is my take on things now, and it is subject to change. It is not some set in stone kind of thing that I would write in a book and sell to
but
others.
these are important things. That's why I want to have this conversation, because I think that I agree that we all look at the world through lenses and worldviews. I disagree that that means that we have no access to objective truth. And so, real quick, I'd like to ask, is it objectively true that we have no access to objective truth?
That's not what I'm arguing, and I would never
Do
argue
we have
there's no.
access to objective truth?
I believe we do, but when we're speaking of spiritual, divine, intimate encounters that humanity has, they are very, very uh, different depending on the country you go to, depending on what
That has
religion.
nothing to do with true or false, though. So that doesn't have anything to do with true or false, though, right?
Well,
That
how does it not? Because a Christian would say my worldview is true, a Buddhist would say my worldview is true, yours is false. What I'm saying is there is a multitude of spiritual experiences that humanity has, and they're all over the place, and I don't disregard any one of these experiences as being untrue, and I don't isolate one of them as having more objective truth than the other.
so two things, right? Just because different people experience something, unless you are an internalist, which is an epistemological framework, meaning that if you experience something, there's certain internalists, there's different kinds, believe that if you experience something, it's true and it's justified. Unless you believe that, and if you do, you're refuted down into relativism again. But another issue is that all of these different systems you made, they're mutually exclusive. Orthodox Christianity is a completely different system than every other worldview, and we make the claim of exclusivity. And you can actually walk through and disprove a worldview if the worldview makes knowledge itself impossible, which your worldview, I believe, does, because you say that all of these different systems, you believe they're true, but they're all contradictory. So
I'm
now,
not saying they're all true. Please listen to my words. I'm not saying they are true. I'm saying because people experience a multitude of different intimate encounters with their so-called divinity, I do not exclude anything from being actually seen and perceived by the experiencer. Is this an Orthodox Christian podcast?
no, this is a debate channel, but I'm an Orthodox Christian.
Okay,
This is a debate channel.
That's starting to become obvious to me.
Well,
I'm
Okay.
well,
not.
hang
Yes.
on. To be fair, right? I let Chase come on to kind of cross-examine your worldview, which I think he should be allowed to do. But Chase, I'm going to ask you to skidoo from here. I think that you had plenty of time with your call-in. I appreciate it very much. But Devin, I would like to get back to this idea. you said that you were a performer.
I'm an artist.
Yeah, yeah,
First
yeah.
of all, I'm
An
not a
artist.
philosopher. I'm more, if we want to put a label, I look at these things more through a lens of poetry and not cold hard fact philosophy. He was using a bunch of ism words. That's just not how I'm perceiving these topics. So we're operating with different systems. That's all I'm saying. I'm not admitting to being some like completely fraudulent performance artist. You're getting me quite candid right now, and this is not performance art.
I'm not
This is me.
saying, well, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just going back to your previous statement. I would like to
Yeah.
know, though, right? Like, listen, this is a huge issue, right? With people who profess guruism. Now, you can say that you're not a guru, and that you're not professing some type of spiritualism, but you make a lot of claims, meaning you say a lot of things that you claim are true. I was playing a video before you came on where you made a ton of claims that are truth claims. They're truth apt anyway. You at least must believe that the things that you're saying are true, right?
Well, you're referencing right now a video from 6 years ago that I no longer stand by. So if
Well,
you're
that was
talking
4
about,
months ago. I played a video that was uploaded
oh,
4 months ago.
I-
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 months ago. 3 months.
and what was that video about?
Well, it wasn't really about much. It was a bunch of what I would consider to be rambling nonsense. It didn't really say much, but what it
Okay,
used
well,
what it used was this particular type of speech pattern, which was almost kind of walking contradiction, which is so like the old army commercials. I bring this up often, where they would say, it's not the strength to be a warrior, but the warrior in you, which has the strength, which doesn't really say anything, right? It's just like, and so maybe that goes with your kind of worldview of being a poet, or this is more like apt to what you're doing. My question to you specifically, just a very easy, straightforward question. Do you believe the things that you say, and are you willing to stand by them? Things that are current within the last 6 months.
Of course, but it seems like you're more aggravated by the way I talk. That video was talking about non-attachment to outcomes and not placing yourself in a position where your sense of satisfaction is dependent on worldly gain, which, by the way, is not a concept I invented.
Okay,
It's
fair enough, fair enough.
in,
But
wait. In all of the so-called holy scriptures, whether you're talking about
sure. Forget the video. I just
Yes, sir.
wanted to know.
Well,
I just want to know the
Christianity,
answer to the question that.
yes, but the problem, good sir, is that you didn't even take the time to listen to that video
I
and
did.
really decipher what I was saying.
No, I
because
watched at
because
least.
your
Hang on.
your judgment.
I'm going to
got
tell
the
you. I'm
best
going to be
of
honest with you. I watched about.
your
I watched.
reactivity got the
Sir,
best of you.
sir.
and
I watched
you
about
just-
10 hours of your content, straight back to back, trying to make sense of it. But in the last 6 months, you did make the claim about 144,000 being saved, and you just did say to me.
No, I did not. Name the video from the past.
Well, I'm gonna link. I'm gonna link it.
1,000 people would be saved.
Well, I'm gonna link it actually. But you did reference this at the very least. Do you hang on?
Did I say this?
Bro, I've let you talk. Let me finish. What at least what
I'm grilling you now.
Let
Did
me
I
at least finish.
say this?
Well, if you're gonna grill me, then you still have to let me respond either way. So, in this 144K, do you believe that that's true or not true? That 144,000 will be saved or not? That's my question.
No, I don't, and I have not said that on my channel for many, many years.
Okay. So I just want to be fair.
You see, here's the problem. It's
Okay.
You're trying to frame me as this insane character who's trying to push a narrative that I'm not even pushing.
Well, that's true. I do think that the shit that you're saying is insane, but I'm willing to demonstrate that it's insane.
It's in your right to think my speech is insane.
Well, I mean, if you say things which are objectively wrong, that can't be justified, that don't make any sense, why wouldn't I think that you were insane?
Well, the thing is, we all have our ideas about the world and how things should be, and I think it's actually quite small-minded of anyone, including myself, to uh, write sus- to write someone off as insane or insufficient as a human just because I don't really get where they're coming from. Now, just because I don't agree with them doesn't mean I'm going to throw them in the waste bin
Well, how
of
can I know where you're coming from
madman.
if every
Imagine
time I ask you a question, you actually refuse to take a position on the answer? How could I ever know?
I've taken a position on every question you've asked.
Well, but
You
you
asked
got caught in the beginning in a performative contradiction. You weren't willing to own the performative contradiction. Rather, you just said you should transcend the laws of logic and we all live in contradiction. But that's not true. We don't all live in contradiction.
when did I say we all live in?
Well, at the
I,
beginning,
I
I'll
say
give you the
as
exact
humans,
timestamp.
you don't think humans can be contradictions? We all can and do at some point show contradictory traits to ourselves and to the world.
And then we fix those because they're contradictory.
Well, I'm
Like
not
you don't
saying,
walk around thinking that a square can be a triangle, right?
I'm with you.
Right.
No,
So if
I'm
that's
not.
true, if I present to you something that can't be so, and you agree it can't be so, but you refuse to change your position, isn't that what a madman would do?
No, because we all grow and we change our opinions, and I'm unashamed to say that things I have published in the past no longer hold true for me, and therefore I don't repeat those same beliefs publicly.
Okay. Do you
And
think that
I
Satan
think
is a
that's
god?
only proper,
Well,
right?
okay.
We should mature and grow as we get older. And because I'm getting older and gaining more experience, I'm recognizing certain things I stand by to not be as authentic as I once thought they were, and sometimes even a bit insane.
That
You know,
seems
but
well.
that's
That does seem fair, right? So if you're
well,
saying
that's
to me, hang
completely
on,
fair. You know
bro,
what's
bro,
unfair?
I just let you talk. Hang on, let me finish, and then I'll let you have the floor again. I've done it the entire time. I'm not going to change now, right? I'll give you the floor back. But it does seem fair if you're saying I'm willing to change my position based on things that are now presented to me that I maybe didn't think about before or I didn't have a good grasp on before. That's fair. But I've just pointed one of those things out, which was a contradiction. And I need you to say that you're going to change your position. Otherwise, what you're
Listen,
saying to me right now, it's bullshit, right?
listen, you don't own me and you don't own my mind
What
or
does that
my
have to do with
speech.
anything?
I,
That has nothing to do
I
with
will,
anything.
I will change my position on things when my position on
Oh, well,
things
gee, that'll teach me.
authentically change.
That'll
Well,
that'll
it's
teach me a valuable lesson about how you can walk around contradicting yourself and then express to me that it's okay to have contradictions, even though you say to me it's not okay to have contradictions. Only one of these things can be true.
I don't know why people on the internet think they can own how I develop my beliefs and abandon them,
Well, we don't
okay?
own it, but we can point out if they're absurd and hold
And
you to the fire.
hold me to the fire all
I'm
you
doing
want.
it right now. And I need you to
I,
say, I'm
I
going to change my position to I don't believe for a second that people should have unlimited bodily autonomy because otherwise I'm living in contradiction.
oh, you're still hung up on
Well,
this.
that's the performative
Oh,
contradiction you were caught in. Don't you think you should change that,
then
pervy?
call me a contradict. Can you accept that it's a contradiction? My goodness, I'm not professing to not be a contradiction. So my goodness,
Why would
at least
anybody listen to somebody who contradicts themselves?
I'm not spreading a business.
Do you don't
I'm
want
not
more
here.
channel members?
No, that's you. You're the one trying to get subscribers
You're
and
not?
money.
You're not trying to get subscribers? You don't want
No,
any?
you've never heard me ask people to subscribe, like, or comment. You've never heard me reference any
That's not my
kind
question. My question is, are
of
you saying you don't
donation.
want any?
I'm trying to paint the picture for you,
Yeah, I
dear.
get the picture, but are you saying you
Okay,
don't want
and
new subscribers? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't care because I'm on YouTube to express, and it happens to, Be something some people want to watch.
Well, would you rather
Okay?
express yourself to a small or a large audience if you had the choice?
I'm not you, okay?
That's
I
not
am
my
very
question. I know you're not
comfortable.
me. Like, I
I'm
know you're
very
not me.
comfortable. Yes, but you have to accept that some people make videos not because they're just trying to rack up a bunch of fame and a bunch of followers,
That's
okay?
not what I said
I'm
either. I asked you a
I'm
specific
comfortable.
question. Can you answer it? Would you prefer to profess your art to a small audience or a large audience?
It is what it is. I mean,
That's not an
it is
answer. I know it is what it is. Answer my
at this
fucking question.
a small audience. That's why I use my smaller channel. I rarely even post on my bigger channel that has probably 93,000
Yeah, but
subscribers.
that's isn't that because you got called out on that channel via emails and then sent an email back to the person saying that you reject that entire worldview and that's why you don't use that channel.
No, I don't not use that channel because I'm embarrassed about my presence. In fact, it would give me more views if I posted my videos on Flat Earth Paradise. I post on my smaller channel because I've cultivated a more intimate audience there who enjoys more of the esoteric poetry I speak.
Yeah, but
Whereas the people on this
you
paradise,
had an email exchange where you were reached out to on this blood shit that you were into. And you expressed in that email that you were going to give up the entirety of flat earth, that you were no longer going to talk about it, that you were no longer going to do it because you were super hyper embarrassed about it. Isn't
says
that
who?
hang on, that you said that in your email.
When?
This
When?
was hang
Show
on.
me the email.
I do have the
Show me
email
the email.
exchange.
I don't, what-
So the email exchange that happened, you claimed in the email that you no longer are going to be posting about flat earth.
I haven't posted about flat Earth
Right.
in
Isn't
many.
that why you're not using your flat earth channel?
No, because I post every few months on the Flat Earth channel, and it's called Flat Earth
But not
Paradise.
about the flat earth, right?
Right. I
Right.
post
So
videos,
come on,
but I
dude.
still. You're acting like I'm embarrassed to post on my larger channel, and I'm
No,
telling
I'm saying that there's a
you, I'll
good
post a few
there,
times a
hang on,
year
hang on. I'm
on
not
my.
saying that. I'm just saying that it sounds like there's a good reason why you aren't, which is that you had
I
said and
am.
expressed when you were pinned on it that you no longer were going to make that type of content, and seemingly that's why you no longer make that type of content.
My friend, first of all, you're a very uncomfortable presence. Second of all,
What does that mean?
I still
I'm
post
supposed to be an
on.
uncomfortable presence.
I
What do you think?
still.
I'm here to kiss your ass or what?
Oh, you're doing your job. I acknowledge that. I still post on this channel you're claiming I'm so afraid and embarrassed to post on.
But
There's a
not about
video.
what the channel's about, which is the flat earth.
It hasn't been about flat Earth for many, many years.
Right. That's my
Since
whole point.
2018.
That's my whole point, though.
Um, so for 5 years, I've been
So
posting
I'll give you an
videos on my
example.
flat Earth channel.
Assume I had a channel about barbecue, and then I
It's
had
not
assume I had hang on. Assume I had a channel about barbecue, and then I decided that I no longer, due to an exchange that I had, was going to engage in barbecue anymore. I promised the person and stated emphatically I'm no longer going to post anything about barbecue videos. And then I still use that big channel, but I didn't use it for the content that people were coming to watch, which was about barbecues, and instead made an alternative channel to talk about the shit that I wanted to. Don't you think it stands to reason that that's why I did that?
I think it depends. I'm not embarrassed. I've just moved on and I kept the name Flat Earth Paradise because my 90 plus subscribers recognize that as the channel they subscribe to. It's really that simple. There's not this heavy sense of embarrassment. Like I told you, I've been posting videos on this channel for many, many years, even after I stopped talking about flat Earth. And that to me does not signify embarrassment.
Yeah. Do you still believe in the flat Earth?
I think about the earth in the same way I think about the divine.
That doesn't answer
I'm
my question. Do you believe in the flat earth or not, dude?
I'm answering your question, okay? I know you are only appealed to whether it's yes, no, black, white. I'm telling you right
Well,
now.
that is a yes no question. You either believe it or you don't. It's that simple.
The thing is, I'm not operating with any specific belief right now in regards to the shape of the earth, in regards to what the divine is. I'm in the church of whatever's out there. And that means I basically don't even care what the answer is. I think there are very, very difficult problems with all of the models that have been presented. And I think we would be fools to isolate one specific model as completely true over the
Okay.
other. And I mean,
Do you
I
believe the
recognize
earth
that.
is a sphere? Do you believe it's a
Listen,
sphere or not, dude? Come on.
listen, my friend, I'm not a flat earth peddler. Okay, so
It's
like
not my question. Just answer my question. Do you believe it's a sphere or don't you?
I don't believe in the globe model.
So then no. The answer would be no, you don't believe it's a sphere.
I no, but like yeah, it's I'm not professing to know exactly the ins and outs of where we are, of what God is, and I know that ticks off people in this world who only accept.
It doesn't tick me off. I just want you to answer me directly. Just tell me what you actually think. Holy shit.
I'm informing you, but you seem to only have black and white.
Because
Uh,
that is an actual black and white answer. It's like me asking you, let me ask you this.
I'm
If I
telling
ask
you,
you,
I'm
are you 6 foot? Is that a yes or no question? Or is that black and white? Is there some in between that you think I'm asking you other than are you 6 foot? How could that be in between anything?
I understand what you're asking me, and I'm choosing to answer it in a way that is insufficient to your liking. And that is
Why? Why?
why?
Yeah, why?
Because I'm not a researcher of models. Because that's not how I spend my mental energy. And I would be lying to you, 2023, if I told you I could 100% defend any model of the earth. But the thing is, this is supposed to be a roast of me, and yet you will find almost zero videos of me trying to convince anyone of a flat earth or any earth model.
Not on your
That's
flat
never
earth channel.
no, because that's never what Flat Earth Paradise was about. You will not find one video where I'm telling people the ins and outs of a specific model because that's never how I've approached things.
Okay, but don't you think it's reasonable for me to ask you, though, what you believe, regardless of what it is that you express to other people?
It's reasonable, and you're finding my answers unreasonable, and
Yeah,
I
they
can.
are unreasonable. Like, you can ask
Well,
me whatever you want, and I'll just answer yes or
I'm
no
on
as long as it's not loaded. As long as it's not a
my
loaded question, I'm fine with answering it.
good sir. I'm not here to be recognized as reasonable. You're asking me what I think about the model
So
of
you're
the
not
earth.
reasonable, you don't use logic, and you live in contradiction, and you think people should fucking listen to you. This is your position?
People can listen to me if they resonate with me. It certainly seems by the looks of my comment section that there's quite a few people who take value or at least entertainment from my content. And that's that. And besides, my content isn't peddling any sort of belief. And a saying my subscribers are very familiar with, which I used to say all the time, is take what resonates, leave the rest. Like I'm not here to convince you of anything. That's not how I'm operating my time on YouTube.
Well, I mean, but you are. I mean, you came on here to defend yourself, so obviously you wanted to convince me that at least some of the claims that I was making weren't true, right?
I'm making good entertainment for you, okay? I'm helping to
Well,
make
that's
you
true. You are making good entertainment for me. I'm not going to
helping
lie
to
about
make
that. You have been a great sport, and I do have a couple more questions. Let's move into the veganism. Tell me about your veganism.
First of all, I don't peddle veganism. I have never
Yeah, I'm not
peddled
asking what you peddle. I'm
veganism.
just
Yes, but you're asking me something that's actually private to me, having nothing to do with
your
my
fucking
use.
diet. Your diet's private to you. Why is your diet private to you? Like
Listen,
I ate
we're here,
Taco Bell
we're here to
yesterday, right?
do your thing, you degenerate. Okay, it's fine. But the thing
Well,
is,
wait, that's a claim that I'm a degenerate. Is eating Taco Bell degenerate?
it's an insult, just like you've insulted me plenty. Okay, so you're a good sport. You can take it. Now, I'm not a character who peddles one specific diet on the internet, and this is supposed to be a roast of me and what I
You've done a
speak on the
phenomenal
internet.
job of roasting yourself. It's required very little labor on my part, I must admit. It's required very little labor. The thing is that you won't answer any questions. You won't take any positions. You
I
live in
won't
contradiction. Why in the fucking
listen.
world would anybody listen to a word that you ever had to say about anything? I don't get it.
They they can if they want to. I'm not here to tell people they have to listen to me.
Sounded like you were going to say they shouldn't. You were just about to say they shouldn't, weren't you?
Uh, I don't believe so.
It sounded like you were saying and then you switched your answer. You go, come on. I know that laugh. I see that fucking laugh, dude.
Well, this is just all very funny. Like, you're grilling me about my diet. I'm currently a vegetarian. I have including I've been including eggs in my diet after a long bout of what we would call veganism, and it's done good things for my health, and I'm
Well, that's
open
fine.
to.
Were you just a vegan because it was healthy, or did you have some moral problem with the killing of animals?
No,
No.
I was no, I always approached my diet in terms of health.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see any problem
Again,
there.
again, like I mean, you can ask me plenty of questions that aren't
Why
even
would it be
inspired.
private if you just said it was? I just did it for health reasons. Like
How,
that's not a moral
how
claim.
often do you? I mean, I could ask you,
You could, and I would answer.
how do you spend time with your children, but that has nothing to do with the content you produce on the internet. And so I'm just trying to
I would
redirect
just answer.
your
I would just,
focus.
you know what I mean? I would just answer because there's
Yes,
nothing that
but
I'm doing that I'm ashamed of or that I'm worried that somebody else will
yes,
call me out for.
unashamed that I practice veganism. Why should I be
Well, then
ashamed
why
of
won't you
it?
answer basic questions about it? Why do you run from every question I ask you? It's like you're so
I didn't.
terrified of being.
When did I run? I
You
told
got
you
done telling me you didn't want to answer about why it is
I
that
never
you
said I
that you
didn't
were a
want to.
vegan.
I question why you're asking me about something that has nothing to do with what I convey publicly. And then I told you I am currently a vegetarian after a long bout of veganism. There's no shame or embarrassment when it comes to my diet. It seems like you are begging me to be ashamed of something that I'm
Not
authentically
begging you
not.
to do anything. I'm
And
just asking you your reason.
you're continuously trying to place me in a mode where I feel so bad about things I've done and like I'm
You
unable to
should feel bad
control
about the things you've done.
decisions.
That's the
I
thing. I really don't understand why you don't feel bad about the blood magic, about what happened with your fucking North Pole trip. You should feel bad about those things. The fact is I think I could forgive all of this and just move on and be like, you're good, right? We had a good time, we had a fun time, this and that. But you've expressed zero fucking remorse for any of this. In fact, you say there shouldn't be any remorse for any of it. That's bullshit, man.
Okay, well, I own what I feel, and
Yeah, are
I
you
feel
remorseful for it though? You feel remorse that you have participated with a guy who claimed he was Satan, who bled all over sheets, and people are still doing it to this day. They're harming themselves all over the internet, And it was in no small part to you and what you taught. You feel no remorse for that.
I don't feel as if I want to continue promoting a blood magic spell.
Yeah, that's
and
not my
I
question, though,
definitely.
dude. You're just like you
Okay, well,
evade.
listen, I'm not going to use the word remorse.
Why not?
Definitely, let me
Okay,
communicate
go
how
ahead.
I wish to communicate, okay? It definitely has been unsettling in many moments, which I told you at the beginning of this so-called interview. It's been very unsettling in many moments for me to realize that I may have inspired some mania or some ungroundedness in others. And if you want to call that remorse, you can. But I don't.
No, I don't call it that. What I call that is you ducking and
You're acting
dodging
like
and
I've
weaving.
done something so. You're acting like I've done something so awful.
You have done
Listen,
something
you're a big
awful.
boy.
How
You're a
have you
big
not
boy.
done something awful? It was fucking
Oh
horrible.
my god! Oh my god! It's not that horrible, okay? People.
Oh, it's not
prick
that
me
horrible,
with-
so you don't have to show that much remorse. Fine, but do you show fucking any? Do you have any remorse? For the
Not
fact
when
you
you're-
told people to
not
cut
when you're
themselves
villain.
open and make deals with the fucking devil, you have no remorse for that?
Not something I will continue, and I have not for like what 6 years now. I mean, this is
Should
like, as
anybody
far-
feel any remorse for anything?
Of course they should, and
But
the
just
last,
not you. Just everybody but you.
the last thing I want to do is affect people in a twisted fashion, and there are many moments that I definitely had to confront that possibility. I mean, what more do you want me
I
to
want
say?
you to prove that you have a conscience, that
You're
you're not a
beating a
fucking
dead horse.
sociopathic psycho who is actually not ashamed at all that you were trying to convince people to cut themselves open, bleed on a piece of paper so that they would get saved by going on some crazy ass North Pole trip to a fucking hole in the ground. You don't think that that's fucking insane and that you should maybe feel a little bit of remorse for you and take some responsibility for that?
All you got is something I did 6 years ago. That's all you got.
Yeah, but what I have
That's
is
all
you
you got. You're beating
refusing
that
to
horse.
show a single shred
You're
of
beating
remorse for
that
that thing you did 6 years ago. You think if I killed someone 6 years ago, I should have no remorse
didn't-
6 years later?
I didn't kill anybody.
I didn't
Okay,
say you
we-
did. That
we
wasn't
have-
it wasn't what I
we
said.
have autonomy. We have the freedom to decide what we're going to do and what we're not. Okay, there are many different actions people participate in this world, and it's ultimately up to the individual to decide if something is going to be done or not done. And so you can't expect me to take full responsibility for other people.
No, but I can
to-
expect you to take full responsibility not only for your part, but to show some sort of
course I
humanity,
take-
but show some
course I
sort
take
of humanity with the remorse
course I take-
that you
There's
were
not-
expressing. I played the video. You told people to cut themselves open, bleed on a piece of paper, right? Sell their soul to the devil so that they will get saved in the North Pole. And then you wanted them to fund your trip to the North Pole where you would save them. And you think that it's unconscionable for me to tell you that you might want to have a little bit of fucking remorse about that.
Well, you got your facts wrong. Blood over intent that I advertised had everything to do with a personal contract one has with what we could call their higher self. Now, I'm speaking in terms of the past, and I was not here to get people to make a pact with Satan, but it fits your narrative
I
much
just played
better.
the video, sir. I played the video. It expresses exactly
And when did-
what
and when
you
did
said blood over intent
when did
was.
when did you hear me tell people they're making a pact with Satan? You haven't. Just like earlier, you said
The guy who invented
I'm
it,
sorry.
who you were, hang on, the guy who invented it, who you were the second in command to, claimed he was the reincarnation of Satan. What
And
are you?
if-
What in the world are you talking about? How in the world
If-
could you possibly say that you didn't know?
if you were up to date with your history, you would know the moment he started calling himself Satan is the moment I disbanded from him.
It was not the moment.
It was the moment.
It wasn't the moment.
Yes, it
what
was.
happened? Well, here's what
Yes, it
happened.
was.
Here's what happened. What happened
Really?
was
Inform
you were
me what
peddling.
happened.
I just played the video.
Inform me
You
what
were. I'm telling you, you were peddling this shit. You know you were peddling something that was unconscionable. This guy who you were with, who was a junkie by your own admission, he was a drug addict by your own admission, he was a drunk
And
by your own admission. This guy, hang on, this guy came up with. This guy came up with the entire system and then claimed he's the reincarnation of Satan. You were right there the entire time, guided people towards that. Whether or not you knew the nefarious intent, how could you have no remorse?
Because you're making a little prick of the finger out to be.
Not everybody did a little prick of the finger. I showed videos of that too, of people cutting the wrists and smearing it all over the pages. It wasn't just a little prick of the finger. That's bullshit, and you're trying to run away from your side of this thing. And you do have a lot of accountability that you should take, and you should have at least some remorse for the fact that you were in cahoots with a guy who claimed he was the devil reincarnated, and you were trying to fleece people to make a trip to the North Pole. I mean, come on.
Okay. Have it your way. What am I saying?
You could just say that you're sorry.
Well, I'm trying to inform you of some specifics. The moment he called himself Satan, I backed out of any association with him. The moment I saw him drink from a vodka bottle, I stopped associating with him. I mean,
you don't think you're being prideful? That you can't just say that you're sorry?
I'm being authentic. I don't feel sorry.
And you don't feel remorse.
You know what? I've already dealt with plenty of repercussions of my misplaced allegiances.
Well, I mean, poor you. Right? Poor you.
No, not poor me. I'm speaking from the heart, okay? I've already had to deal with the possibility that in my past I have peddled things that affected people in a way that inspired mania and ungroundedness. But I don't regret my past, because all mistakes that I have made, just like we've all made them, have been burned away. And as I grow, I will continue, just like all beings who want to grow in wisdom, to expunge any activities or allegiances from my life that I see unfit and even harmful to others. Now, I am still friends with various people who did blood over intent, who to this day find it a decent practice. And so when
that's why.
Hold on. And so you're asking, it's not why. So you're asking me to have this 100% regret for an activity that I don't feel caused everyone harm. But that's not to say I believe in it today. That's not to say I continue to speak about it. And I haven't for like 6 years, man. So you're beating a dead horse.
Well, it's not a dead horse. You just said that you have friends who are still involved in the practice. Do those friends profess the practice? You did say that. You did say those were your exact words. I still have friends who do the practice.
In effect, I still have friends who feel as if it affected them in a positive way. I never said they continue it to this day. My friends do not continue to do it to this day, and neither do I. So
you don't have any associates who still practice blood magic rituals?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
Like most of us have moved on from that.
Yeah, got it. But none of you feel bad about it.
Why should we feel bad about something?
Because I already gave you the reasons why a normal person would.
Well, you're speaking to me, and maybe I'm not a normal person.
Yeah,
okay?
maybe. I mean, maybe you're not, man. I mean, do you think pride? Do you think that pride is like a benefit, or do you think it's not a benefit? Because this is very prideful that you can't just own this and say that you're sorry to the people that you affected.
You have nothing because you just want to take a moral high ground as if
I
I've
have
been
the
a
moral high ground because I never tried to convince people to sell their soul to Satan using their blood.
And I'm telling you, you have your history wrong. I never professed blood over intent to be about selling your soul to Satan.
No, you said something that was very similar, though, in the video that you did profess, which
Like
is
what?
you
Like
said that this blood magic ritual was a way for you to basically get what you wanted because you're professing to the chains that are on your body that you don't want them there anymore. That's what you're saying. That is a satanic message. It's the same message that the other guy was peddling.
Call it whatever you want, and that turned out to be a delusion. Okay, like
And other people who are involved in.
told you this. I've been telling you. Listen, you're subscribing all this pride to me. I've been saying during this entire call or live stream that I have been wrong in many instances, that I had to grow into greater perspectives,
Yeah.
that
I agree with all that, but you haven't expressed a single shred of remorse.
Then see it however you want to see it.
No, I need you to tell me that you have not expressed a
Why are
single
you
shred
playing
of a remorse.
Hey, why are you playing daddy with me? You can get
Because
to much more
you're lying,
interesting
bro.
questions.
You're
acting
lying.
like-
You can't
you're
lie
acting
to
like
me. You can't lie to me. Listen, you can't lie to me. You can't
You
bullshit
can't lie
me.
to me. I'm your father. I'm here to corner you because you are.
Because you suck and you have nothing and you won't admit that you don't have any remorse. Just say you don't have any remorse. Stop lying to everybody. For once, tell the truth and just say, I don't have any fucking remorse. Stop being a bullshit artist.
I've been telling you this whole time. I don't regret having peddled blood over intent, but that doesn't
Right.
mean that I've.
Well, then nothing else you say means anything, man.
Okay, then I'm a shit stain in the universe according to you. Great.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. Okay, there's plenty of videos out there, and feel free to make even more content about me. I don't know what to say. I don't think this is interesting content for your channel, and I think what you're
Well,
doing
they
is
seem
not.
to think that it's interesting, and the hundreds of dollars which have rolled in seem to think that it's interesting.
I'm glad I can make you money, and
I'm
that
glad you could make me money too. I have no remorse about that, sir.
Well, then, am I going to try and play the more high ground and say you're making a profit off of trying to humiliate
Yeah,
others?
as long as you can take a fucking position that I shouldn't be humiliating people who have no remorse about the fact they were involved in satanic rituals. If you can do that, by all fucking means.
Well, but I'm not playing the game you're playing.
Right. You can't justify
I'm not-
anything. I want you to know that you are what I like to call a fucking idiot. You got played, you played yourself, and you refuse to take any responsibility. Right? Nobody should ever listen to you about anything. You're fucking dumb. I don't know what else to say, dude. You're just dumb.
Well, you're undignified in your
Ew,
speech.
well, you're undignified, but why is it that you can't beat me in a verbal joust if I'm so stupid and you're so smart?
I'm not here to verbal joust you.
Because you're wrong about literally everything that you say. You
I'm
can't
not
justify
trying to
anything.
be right. I'm not trying to be right. I'm not playing the game of the all-knowing right person, okay? You're asking me how I feel about things in my past, and I'm authentically telling you in the way that,
That you have no remorse.
okay, have it go away.
Well, I don't need to. You gave and that's all we really needed, I guess. Did you have a channel you wanted to shout out or anything else that you wanted to say? I'll give you the entirety of the floor.
No, because I'm not a salesman, and I'm not here to collect money on YouTube like you are. So I hope you spend that wisely on your family. And
is it unconscionable? Is it unconscionable for me, who has 5 children, to make money?
No, I'm not.
So then you really have nothing to say at all.
It's in your absolute right to make money on YouTube, but I'm not someone who wants to point to a website or point to a donation link or even point to my own channel.
Being the benevolent person that I am, you can't say I didn't give you the opportunity to do so.
That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just expressing, my man.
All right. Well, you have yourself a great day. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
I bet those glasses make you see better.